Ladies and gents, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy and I've got another absolute gem for you that isn't one of the super popular and talked about weapons that everyone has been aware of since the beginning of time. And actually I'm pretty much at the point now of a lot of my favourite guns being the ones that aren't the super high usage options. Let me ask you, do you like getting easy kills? Do you like a weapon that doesn't feel like it's fighting against you when you use it? Do you like a gun that's consistent? Do you like a gun that allows you to get these kills whilst being versatile, without needing to sit in a corner or lie prone on a hill, or having to avoid certain ranges and situations? If so, then you're on the right video, because this is the Karabin 1938M, or what I may or may not refer to as Mr. Krabs sometimes, and it's extremely good. Take note while you're watching the video of just how easy it seems to be for me to pick up these kills, how relaxed it all feels, how consistent it is, how it never seems to be causing me any difficulty. The Karabin exudes ease of use, but I'm not saying it's the best thing in the game or whatever, don't get it twisted. Sometimes the easiest thing to use can be outclassed by a really good player using a skill cannon, but trust me, regardless, the Karabin is awesome. Yup, another awesome semi-auto rifle. It's almost as if these aren't well balanced, and I'm likely going to end up covering almost all of the semi-autos in the end for the weapon balance we're in right now, because they're just basically the best overall guns in the game at this point, so I'll just highlight what each of them is good at. For the Karabin, it's sheer ease of use. Low recoil, easy to manage fire rates that doesn't require you to spam it super fast, but is quick enough to let you drop people without giving them much of a chance to fight back. The recoil of each shot that bounce upwards comes back and resets in a manner that seems to fit the rate of fire perfectly. It's just great. You need to give this one a try if you haven't for a while, as it isn't talked about as much as some of the others, so it's easy to let it go by without giving it a shot to see if it works for you. Now for a little bit of background though, the Karabin released in a state that made it almost totally a clone of the Gewehr 43, arguably a worse version of it. So while there was nothing wrong with the Karabin, most people felt there was no reason to use it, and then it got altered, making it a super stable option and bringing real value to its selection. But, as is fairly common, when a gun comes out and doesn't entice people, when it's then changed in a way that doesn't seem super dramatic, most people still won't pay attention to it. They'll just keep using what they're already using and what has brought them success up to this point. And that will have been a mistake, as for a while the Karabin was really good, but then came the TTK change that drove the community insane and semi-auto rifle usage plummeted. But now, they're on top again. Now they're dominant, even more dominant than ever before, and the Karabin slays people with total ease. Why? Well, let's lay out some basic stats. A 3-shot kill out to 100 meters. No, I'm not messing about. It kills in 3 shots to center mass up to 100 meters, can kill in 2 headshots, requires just 4 bullets to kill past 100 meters, all whilst firing at 300 rounds per minute and having what I believe is the highest in-game default control stat bar of any assault semi-auto in the game. Either way, whether I'm correct or not on that one, it's way up near the top of the list for that, and the in-depth stats indicate as much on sim.gg. Now I know that the in-game bars aren't all that much use sometimes, but without going into massive detail and boring you, it actually does hold some importance this time. The Karabin is so easy to control, as I alluded to earlier, which makes for picking people off in 3 or 4 shots extremely simple. Get a kill or 2, use cover to reload, pop back out and drop someone else, no difficulty involved at all, and you can peek shoot, take a shot, take cover, take a shot, take cover. It's just exceptional. Now if you want some comparisons, which are always very useful and help to position the weapons in our head in terms of their capabilities, the Karabin's body shot kill time is almost identical to another favourite of mine, the AGM/42. While the AG has a superior kill time after 100 meters and has a much faster 2-shot headshot, the Karabin is far easier to use for your average player. So if you struggle with the AG, Mr. Krabs might be much more up your alley. Personally, I think they're both great. And at this point I imagine that some of you will be anxious about its close range capabilities, and I understand that. It of course can't match certain automatic weapons within 10 meters in an even fight, but I want to highlight that there are plenty of clips in the footage where I'm able to beat out automatics at close range, simply by reacting faster, having better game sense, or hitting the target consistently. My point being that its kill time in close quarters is still fast enough for you to be able to compete if you know what you're doing. And if we take the STG-44 for this comparison point, well, the STG obviously kills faster within 10 meters, but then starts to get beaten by the Karabin from just 11 meters out and never recovers an advantage after that. And people really tried to tell me I was wrong about mid or slower firing automatics being underpowered now. If you still needed any indication at all that it's not well balanced, this is a strong one. Or how about let's compare with the Madsen MG. Now the Madsen Madsen is a standout automatic option for range fights now, due to its different damage model for autos and great consistency, but the lack of balance is still super evident here. The Karabin kills significantly faster than it, all the way out to about 100 meters, before the Madsen finally gets the upper hand, and the Karabin is far easier to use and more versatile in my opinion. Even if the Madsen has more ammo, it just doesn't matter enough. Again, the balancing simply isn't in place, and some people can deny that all they like. The stats don't lie, and the stats put semi-autos way out in front. The Karabin fully takes advantage of this. Oh, and for those that are curious, the specs I use on it are quick aim, custom stock, light and stock, and recoil buffer. For me, this makes it as light and snappy as possible, as I like to move around a lot and be able to challenge anyone at any range and get the drop on people. But if you want to play more passively, you might benefit more so from high velocity bullets and barrel bedding, so you can be stationary and pick people off from further away more easily. Or if you like to go for hipfire, go for enhanced grips, which will also give you quick reload. And as that brings us to reloading, you'll be doing it a lot. If you don't like that, then this gun isn't for you. Go for something like the Self-Sladder 1916 instead if you still want to use a semi-auto, because you only have 10 rounds per reload, so this isn't a gun for massive flanks and picking up, 7 quick kills in the feed or whatever. Nope, not with this gun, and not with most semi-auto weapons in fact. You'll be reloading each round individually because it doesn't have a magazine, or at least you would be, but this gun actually uses stripper clips. So if you fire 5 rounds, you load 5 at once. If you fire 10, you load 2 stripper clips, 5 rounds respectively. Any other amount will require some rounds to be loaded individually. So if you fire 7, you load the stripper clip and then load 2 rounds individually. And I totally understand if that's a turnoff, but it didn't bother me at all, and it won't bother a lot of you out there, and the reload didn't seem to take too long regardless, in my opinion. But it's up to you if you can get on with that. Overall, this thing is stupid good, arguably broken, just like the other semi-autos, and these were the easiest kills I can get in BF5. Now I don't want to drag this one out, that's what I've got to say about this, so let me know what you think of the Karabin in the comments below, or if you're now excited to try it, and I'll let the rest of my footage play out after my outro. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leaving a like is massive for me, it helps the channel to grow. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing and turning on notifications to stay up to date with the massive amount of content I've got coming out at the minute, and all the links to my social media including Patreon can be found in the description and my pinned comment. Here is the Board of Awesome for the epic people who already support me on Patreon. They're all absolute heroes and I love them all deeply and of course, often. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description and my pinned comment. And with that all said, I'm GetGoodGuy and I'll see you next time. Laters. because also, if you want to fight outside of 10 meters, certainly at say 20 to 30 meters, you'll just use something else anyway. Expanding from this, we can say that using an MMG now generally doesn't offer a particularly large advantage when weighing up its positives against the negatives of being less versatile,